step forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Then and Now podcast. And I'm your co-host, C. Diesel. And to the right of me, I have Professor E, King of the Comics, Ethan Murphy. I know we're one light today. I think Otis is on his way, so we'll have him pop in like, I think, 10, 15 minutes. He'll be on the way here. But until then, you get to see our pretty faces. Anyway,
today I don't want that give you a hard time for Buttercup. The little gesture there is perfect. She'd love that. She'd love that.
So today we have a loaded docket. Again, we are going to be covering the massive amount of news that happened with James Gunn and Peter Safran announcing their plans for the upcoming DCU. I know this is a thing that a lot of people were very excited for, myself and some people were very skeptical of. But again, we have new direction. I know, E, I know you said, to your point, you don't think you've ever seen any from DC. You said you've seen a timeline like this made?
No. So more or less, we're talking about plans. At DC having a plan. And what I was saying was that DC has had numerous plans in the past. They've had numerous quote unquote heads that have tried to do things. And for one reason or another, things have fallen apart. That's yeah. This does seem like a more elaborate, not elaborate in that way. More like this does seem like more of an actual like tangible plan that he has. Right. But I just saw an article right now. I was seeing that some of the leaks. There's been some of the chips in the armor already so far with it, but whatever.
Most of that shit don't even acknowledge, because literally James Gunn's one of the only people to where when they're like, if you go to his page, you'll see copious amounts of people putting out fake takes, and he'll literally be like, "We're not doing that. We're not doing that." Like when the stuff with Cavill's contract went around and people were talking about why, they're not signing Cavill because he had this beef. He's like, no, that's literally not what it is. And
right.
then I think he's like,
did you hear what he said about Cavill? He's like, we didn't fire him, we just didn't hire him.
Right.
It's like,
because Cavill said he's down to come back for the future stuff, though.
But the thing was, I thought, yeah, he did. But the thing was, he was hired already. Like if he was in, pretty much for him to have been in that Black Adam movie, he was hired. You can't
about an old guard, yeah. When you come in, like I'm thinking, like from my perspective, if you are taking over management somewhere, okay. So again, going back to basketball, I always gotta have a basketball analogy. You always do. Whenever you see a new head coach hired on the staff of a team, that head coach has the power. He brings in all his trainers, all his assistant coaches, because he wants to bring in his system. Because if he loses his job, he wants to be because he fucked up and not because he was trying to make shit work with a previous system that was not around or it didn't gel with what his vision was.
Right.
Which is what I understand. And then going off of previous stuff, I think to my knowledge, the only things that I knew that were like planned before Gunn got there were stuff like with, like you said, with the Nolan films, which Nolan himself said he didn't even like making superhero movies. Like he didn't like them as a whole totality, which he really only did those so he could get the green light to do his own stuff. Like I think right after he did after the Dark Knight Rises came out, what was it? It was
so after the Dark Knight, he did Inception.
Then
he did Dark Knight Rises, and then he did I believe it was Interstellar after Dark Knight Rises.
Right. So he's literally only doing them so he can get to which is fine. I get that, because you want to do your own creative vision. But if you're creating content that one is going to be appeasing a fan base that is fans of this narrative, I'd like for you to give a little bit more care and attention to it and not just do it as a throwaway, which luckily we got some amazing stuff out of at least the second one. I think everybody unanimously agrees the second movie was done really well.
I think the first two are actually good. I mean, the first one is a little rougher. I mean, maybe some of the editing when he fights, but it's still a good story. And actually, that was why he wanted to do it. He actually wanted to approach like a gritty, grounded crime noir type of story, which actually did. I think he did a good job with that. It kind of fell apart the third one with that. Although that Bane voice is, I've used it many times with stuff with the ladies, and my friend, that gets me absolutely nowhere. But still, it's still enjoyable enough to watch those movies.
Right. And then on top of that, I think outside of him, the only other plan I could think of was stuff with Snyder. But unfortunately, obviously, he had the tragedy with his daughter, and that kind of threw things off track. And I think that was just a matter of he was grieving, and Hollywood doesn't have time for you to go through your personal stuff. We have to keep making money. So they kind of just, which again, it was kind of sad, because I did enjoy Man of Steel when that first came out. And as much as I didn't like Batman v Superman, I thought there was potential there. And I even enjoyed the first Wonder Woman movie. So there's potential there.
Yeah. There's potential there. Yeah, there was potential there. And that was, some of that was during, I believe that was the end of the Kevin Tsujihara era. So Kevin Tsujihara was also someone else that was kind of, the thing about Kevin Tsujihara was he was more or less a businessman and a producer. He didn't necessarily have a zeal for the source material. And that is one thing we can agree on. I know you, Dev, you and I we pretty much don't see eye to eye on anything except the idea that the water is blue. But the thing about it is that this clearly is we can agree that Gunn clearly is a fan, a super fan of DC and Marvel, this comic books in general, even like very offbeat stuff. So that does bode well. Which for the first time we have a actual hardcore fan.
Right. And I think that's the best part about it, is that you have Gunn, who's a fan of the source material, and then you also have Peter Safran, who's the business guy. So you have the best of both worlds. Right. And I think you see that benefited the most. Again, Marvel's kind of formulaic now and I think it's a little watered down now, but for that first phase, the first couple phases, with Feige being an actual fan of that source material is what made those characters so great. Because people forget Iron Man, Thor, Cap, Widow, they were not big characters. Marvel was the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man.
Those were like and X-Men too. And those were all sold off to other studios. Yeah.
Right.
All the Avengers were C and D listers. Yeah.
So they took C and D list characters and turned it into they upped the popularity to what it is now.
Yeah.
So when you have people that are fans of source material, that's what you get, amazing things like that. But
this is this get real fancy, real quick. This is what's known as auteur theory, essentially, which just basically boils down to having someone at the helm of a project or projects that has a clear vision that everything else kind of falls in line with. Kevin Feige was clearly an auteur with this, much more so than even the directors were. It seems like Gunn will be the auteur for the DC universe now. Hopefully everything shapes up right. I wanted to. I mean, I'm actually wearing my Superman shirt today. I know you hate him, but I still love him. I hope it does come out. I want it to work out.
I hate Cap. I don't hate Superman. I just think his stuff is boring. A lot of his stuff is boring.
If someone said to you, I don't hate Charlie, he's boring. I think that man is boring and these beards are boring. You'd be like, that's still insulting.
It's insulting, but it means he hates me.
Fair.
I think also a funny thing with that, I'm pretty sure Gunn is directing and writing the Superman movie as well.
Yeah, what's it called? Is it Superman
Legacy is what it's called, I believe.
Legacy.
Which that'll probably lead directly into the Supergirl movie, most likely.
Speaking of which, so you got that right here.
Yeah.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and where is that image at? So Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm not sure exactly, because I know with Gunn, he usually, and a lot of people that make movies based off of comics, they tend to base their model or their story around a particular run or a particular series of comics. Like I know Marvel based majority of their stuff off the Ultimate Universe because it was based in reality a lot more. So I'm not quite sure what this one's going off of. But I'm really interested to see that and Superman included. I'm really excited to see at what point of Superman's journey we're going to hop on the train at. I think it'd be nice to kind of get him like when he's a professional. I'm kind of tired of origin stories with characters that we've seen origin stories for a lot.
Yes, I agree.
So I didn't like Batfleck like that, but I think that's the one positive thing I enjoy is that we saw him at the end of the journey or the middle of the journey versus the origin, because it left room for us to uncover the world, not just be introduced to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I did actually like about Affleck or that idea. I mean, the idea of a hardened, grizzled, kind of done with it Batman. Even if he was going to go around killing people, if they had just shown Jason Todd getting off at the beginning, I'd probably be like, okay, I get it. I probably would allow that to happen, but it was mishandled. It was just mishandled the way around that.
Right.
Same as Supergirl. You and I are comic book fans. We've seen how she actually is represented in the comic books. She is nothing at all like she is in any of the movies or TV shows. They've had a couple of animated movies where it kind of shows her personality. You have to think about this with Supergirl. Kara Zor-El literally grew up on Krypton her whole life and then gets put on Earth like for a couple of days or whatnot. She's like, I don't have any loyalty to this planet or these people. To me, they really are foreigners. Why am I here? She really doesn't like Earthlings that much necessarily, especially at the beginning. And she's a lot closer to a Vegeta than she is to a Goku. And they for some reason, they keep on making her seem so much more like Clark Kent. And she's not at all like Clark Kent. So if they do this right, if they do Woman of Tomorrow right, do it justice, it could be a great movie, I think.
Because you're supposed to see them as like, not like ants. That's kind of a little bit to an extreme, but it's like weaker individuals. They're weaker to her. They're not as strong. They're not as intelligent. They're not as technologically advanced. Like you're going to look at them like, what the fuck? Like, y'all are wild. So
she has anger issues too. I mean, she literally has wielded a red ring before.
Red Lantern, which makes me mad because they canceled Young Justice when they teased her coming for that next season as a Red Lantern.
I can't remember.
Yes, the last episode they showed her as a Red Lantern in the actual full costume.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, she did amazing.
That next season would have been fuego. That would have been ridiculous.
That'd have been amazing. Oh, well, okay. Right on. Now, yeah. So, okay, moving on. We also have, let me bring up my, sorry about this, real quick. The Authority.
Yes. This is something that I learned a little bit more about being on my boy James Simon's live show. Shout out to Small Screen. They do great work over there. This cast of characters is very interesting. And like their powers are very kind of, it's similar to like The Boys in a way, where it's a group of, this will be an adult oriented show for sure. It may be similarly rated to The Boys, maybe be TVMA.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Plus, one thing that's interesting too is this came from the Wildstorm era of comics. So Wildstorm was definitely much more, it was, especially in the 90s when it came out, it was trying to be different. It wasn't trying to be the kind of cookie cutter black and white heroes. It was meant to be a grittier take on things. That was the whole basis for it. So yeah, I'm excited for that one too. And you're right, that's a really good comparison. It's The Boys. That's how it plays out. Was The Authority, I can't remember. Was The Authority the one where the Batman and Superman analogs were actually like
Hola, hermano. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, what up, Cito? We got a big shout out for Cito later on. You'll see why. Cito, a man behind the scenes here. But was The Authority, remind me, or Cito, if you know this too, wasn't The Authority the one that had the Batman and Superman analogs that were actually in a couple with each other?
Yeah. The Batman guy, he's like, I almost called him the Crimson Crowbar. I forgot. I can't remember his character's name. We were just talking about. We were talking about the Crimson Crowbar, so it was on my mind. But yeah, those two, I learned that as well. Like the Batman and Superman characters are in a committed relationship with one another.
Yeah,
and I think they lost their memory or something like that. You have one of the characters is like a doctor, like almost like a combination of Dr. Fate and a shaman, but he's addicted to heroin.
Right. Yeah. So his mind
Midnighter is his name. Midnighter is the Batman character's name.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, it's a very interesting. It seems like the perfect movie. I don't think James Gunn is directing this one necessarily, but it seems like the kind of perfect movie for him to do.
This is a show. This is gonna be
a show. It's a show. It's a series. It seems like a perfect series for him. You know what I mean?
Right. And going off of that one too, I'm expecting it to be like a combination of like The Boys, Invincible, and maybe like Umbrella Academy, like that mixture of like adult oriented.
Oh yeah.
Superhero-dom and comedy and whatnot.
Which I think that would be that's a good lane for DC to embrace. Is like, let's go ahead and do our own thing, as opposed to being like more or less the Marvel stuff in lots of regards has become more Disney family oriented. But DC has found a lane going a little more adult oriented. They've done that with other stuff too. Everything from the Harley Quinn animated series to having actually having people die in Batman and be Superman. So it's like, if that's the lane, embrace it. Right. Make yourself different. Why not?
And along the terms of introducing new characters, also, I'm excited for this Batman Brave and the Bold movie.
Yes, sir.
Because for people, I'm assuming this is done on purpose, where people that aren't familiar, Brave and the Bold was also the name of an animated series on Cartoon Network back in the day, in which the whole concept of it was just to have Batman team up with literally every single superhero, sometimes villain that you could think of, and he just would have a dialogue with them. So I'm hoping that this is a way to not only utilize Batman's, and we talked about it a while back. I was watching a video back in which we discovered Batman Unburied, and Otis's main point was that he was tired of seeing a Batman story. Well, I think this is the perfect way to bridge the gap of bringing back an IP character that has been really highly sought after for damn near 75 years, or over 75 years now, and then using him as a vehicle to introduce new characters. So I'm assuming we'll get like the Bat family. So we'll get like an orphan, probably a spoiler. Hopefully they bring back Kate Kane, because if you really want to have representation with the LGBTQ community, use a character that's part of that community that you actually made.
Yeah, she's also a good character too. But
exactly,
regardless of her preference. But also I'm sorry.
No, just if the possibilities are endless. What they want.
Possibilities. I mean, everyone here knows I'm a hardcore Robin fan. Primarily Tim Drake and Dick Grayson. However, I do like Damian. Damian also shows a different side of Bruce. And I know that Gunn is he's mentioned that Damian is his favorite Robin.
Which makes sense.
Clearly makes sense. So I know that if anyone is going to try to make sure, as an auteur, is going to try to make sure that Damian is represented, or Robin because I think this is the last time we saw Robin on the big screen was Chris O'Donnell in his 30s in Batman and Robin by Joel Schumacher. Jesus Christ. Speaking of Cito and I just played a drinking game with that, and it made us all hardcore drunk within a couple of minutes. It's so bad. So the idea of actually seeing Robin portrayed much better on the big screen gives me excited, man. Gives me really excited.
I'm hoping for like a Ellie type of Robin, that's smart aleck the asshole, which is what Damian is.
Yes.
Before we go any further, shout out Tripstar VPR.
Yo, that's my protege Casey. What's up, Casey? How you doing?
Oh, that's Casey. Okay,
that's Casey. Yeah, you remember Casey?
Yeah, I remember Casey. I think Casey's on like 3 or 4 videos we have on the channel.
Yeah. Because he was around.
I don't know if I put them on either. They're here or on the Facebook, but we recorded those like a long time ago. Yeah. But yeah, continuing with Damien, it'd be dope. I'm hoping to get that smart aleck, like almost like Kick Ass in a sense with Hit Girl, but like a male version of that. That'd be dope as hell.
There's so many. That story, that comic, actually, you read it before. It's actually a good comic too. So,
so I'm excited. I'm excited, man. And I think apparently they're recasting Batman again. And that's the biggest thing that I'm really happy that they're doing with this, that DC, I feel like Marvel should have done, is that they're pretty much separating this new continuity in the other stuff like the Batman into the Elseworld verse. So now you're giving yourself an opportunity to put out and be experimental with movies and have it not affect your continuity where people aren't like, oh, why doesn't this affect this? Well, it's its own self-contained story. You can take creative liberties without having to abide by all the continuity that we have set previously. So you can do a Joker sequel with Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn and still continue to use Margot Robbie. And you can have Robert Pattinson Batman and do the Penguin stuff over there and still do this other stuff in main continuity.
Right on. Now, let me ask you a personal question as a, just friend to friend, boy to boy. Do you think that this might be confusing to the lay person? Like you and I are pretty hardcore. We're in a bubble. We're hardcore blurs. But to the casual viewer, like let's say your mama or my sister with 3 kids, do you think this may be confusing as far as there's Elseworld stuff and then there's also main canon DC stuff, especially if they're more used to just seeing things in the MCU where everything's connected in some capacity?
I don't think they'll care. I think when it comes to the casual audience, they're just looking for entertainment as long as they get that. Like even when it comes to like with the continuity that Marvel has now, I've randomly, funny, again, you talked about family. I went back home this past weekend to help out my grandma clean out stuff. They got into a new house. And one of my uncles I haven't spoken to for a while, I didn't even know, but he's a fan of Marvel to an extent. And he was like, he's like, boy, you seen that the Black Panther? I'm like, yeah, Unc, I seen Black Panther. We talked about it. He was like, he's just running down his like random theory of like how vibranium is. Obviously, like it makes no sense because my uncle's probably like season 60s at this point, so it makes no sense. But again, his whole thing was that he was entertained. He saw it. He didn't really care about the continuity like that. I don't think fans, if you're not a comic book fan, you're not caring. So I think you're getting 2 birds with one stone where you can entertain the casual audience, but for the hardcore fans that want that sense of continuity and want to see how things build up, you're also giving them a chance. So you're hitting 2 birds with one stone, which is why I wish Marvel would have done with the What If stuff. And you could have had all kinds of other stories.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I think you're right, actually. We actually agree today. That's crazy. I think like in a larger sense, a bigger sense, a wider scope, the average casual person doesn't really care. They don't understand. They don't really care. They just enjoy the movies as they are. It's it's people like us that are like all meticulous and all nerdy and everything and all secret about stuff. Regular casuals, they don't care. Just entertain them and they're happy. Look, the original Batman film from 1989, Batman kills folks and he wears a different outfit from what they saw from Adam West. They didn't care. It's just a film to entertain them. They made all kinds of money. So yeah, I think that's actually how it's going to play out. It's pretty much as long as you give them a good show, they don't care what it's based off of or derived from necessarily.
Pretty much, yeah. Again, you're hitting multiple birds with one stone. This is why I know we talked about it. This is why I'm so confident and excited because it seems like they have the perfect foundation. Like it feels like Gunn was around Marvel enough to know the faults of what they could have done better, and now he has the reins to lay down a better foundation. And again, I've already said publicly on the channel, I feel like I think DC has better stories than Marvel. I enjoy their stories a lot more, which is probably again part of the reason why they were so dominant in the comic industry for a while. So now we get a chance to where we can not only tell stuff from this continuity, but you can hit all kinds of different random stories and random runs and get into those things and then it not affect your main stuff. You can do a lot more and be more versatile.
That was because I think DC comic sales are still up over Marvel's, but I think that's the point. Is DC and for the most part, DC and Marvel have been two completely different universes. Marvel has always felt like you're watching ordinary people with extraordinary abilities. DC feel like you're watching gods among us. Try to be mortals among us, and that's what they should do. They shouldn't. The fact that DC ever tried to follow any kind of model of Marvel makes no sense. So if Gunn seems very much aware of that, the people he's bringing along around him, his team, hopefully that'll pan out. They're like, let's stay in the lane what made DC work in the comics.
Right. Moving into the next project, we'll use this comment from my boy Casey to get into it. He wants to see Kyle Rayner as the White Lantern, And I will say that goes into the next show that we're going to be discussing, the Lantern Show. This and maybe the Waller Show are probably the two shows I'm the most excited for because I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. I'm a huge John Stewart fan. Probably my favorite comic book character of all time, probably. It's up there, but he's one of the most influential ones for me personally. But besides him, we're going to have an introduction to a plethora of other Green Lantern characters. This show pretty much is going to be more of literally a cop show. So which is something I always wanted when it comes to the Green Lantern stuff. Even in the comics, I feel like they tend to get away from like the fact that they're space cops because you have so many intergalactic life universe-ending events. It feels like you're more of a war army than a corps.
Yeah.
But like now we're getting a cop show where they're going to be going through intergalactic mysteries and doing all different things. And that leaves the possibility open to Kyle Rayner coming in. You can bring in John Stewart. You can bring in a Guy Gardner. You can show Kilowog and actually do Kilowog right now. You could do the Squirrel, or what was the Squirrel? If you want to get into the Squirrel,
I forgot that thing's name.
If you want to get into the Red Lantern stuff, we can see Dexter on film. Dexter is like one of the fan favorites. He's a cat with a red lantern ring.
Yeah. What's the one? Oh my god, I can't remember. But the original Lantern, the one that the little pinkish one that actually was the first one. No. Not the one before Hal, but the one that they had him in an animated movie one time. He was the one who made the first hard light construct. That dude, he's a
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about though.
I think that was just for that movie though. I don't know how consistent that character. I don't remember seeing that character in any comics outside of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's in the comics, but I love the idea. But I love that animated film because or the animated anthology because it just shows the extended history of these characters and how interesting they actually are. But I'm so excited about this because you know how I'm a hardcore buddy cop fan. And this very much, I think he actually described this as a buddy cop thing. Because the actual perfect pairing would be Hal Jordan's cool and all, but it'd be John Stewart and Guy Gardner because they're very much everyone has butt heads with Guy Gardner. Stewart is very much the more kind of the Boy Scout. He's from the soldier. He's a soldier, and Guy Gardner is very much a loose cannon. They're designed to be a buddy cop duo. So if they do that and they do it well at all, I will gladly.
I don't think I've seen. I think there's going to be I don't know if those pictures were real, but I know there's a picture of John Stewart and there's another I can't remember her name, but she's a very newer Lantern from Earth where she's a black woman, I believe, with like the mohawk, the frohawk kind of sort of.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I think they're going to try to pair those two together. I feel like I don't. Again, it could be something similar. I don't know her personality as much. I haven't read her stuff.
I don't very much about her at all. If they have different personalities, I think she's younger though. So if they have different personalities, that could work. Because if you have the young guard and the old guard, that could work really well.
And Cito, no, not Alan Scott.
No, he was older. Yeah, he's. In all fairness, I guess he was the original as far as comic wise. He was from the JSA. Yeah. He was, but
we're talking about. I think was it Emerald Knights was the anthology series.
Yeah, it was Emerald Knights. It was Emerald Knights. I can't remember his name though. You're right though. I think he's not. I don't think he's actually canon as far as the comics necessarily, but he was the first one. I really like that guy. He was.
Yeah. If you guys watch Green Lantern Emerald Knights, it's pretty much just like an anthology series going through the different stories of the Lantern Corps, and they show that movie's origin of like the first lantern that the Guardians bestow the ring, or the ring chose. So it's cool. But again, I'm excited to see that stuff. Obviously, they're gonna nerf him a little bit because it'd be kind of wild for the cops to be able to like wreak havoc on a planet off rip like that, or at least start them at like a ground level to where the rings aren't as busted. Because again, there's a reason why that Red Lantern ring makes Supergirl so OP, because the Lantern rings already by themselves are broken, and she's a Kryptonian. So it just it
feeds off of your rage. Yeah, it's something like that. Not hatred, but rage. So yeah, you also mentioned Waller too. Waller.
Yes, that is probably my most highly anticipated show that's going to be coming. Again, I don't know if for people, some people may not be as knowledgeable on Viola Davis and like the different things she's done, but she is an amazing actor. If you haven't seen The Woman King, I highly suggest though. Speaking on that, again, we reviewed The Woman King on our channel over at the Then and Now podcast on YouTube, which you're probably watching this from. Exactly.
Probably.
Used to be on 5 different platforms streaming. But yes, we reviewed that. She did amazing in that. She's done amazing in a lot of different roles, and she's killed this role as this character in particular. You've seen that through the different movies with The Suicide Squad. She was in the Peacemaker show to a brief extent. So I'm excited to see her be put on center stage, and this with her literally just put a camera in her face and just let her go.
Yeah, she's amazing. I mean, even the original Suicide Squad, which wasn't a good movie necessarily, I thought she did her job. She showed up. It wasn't on her at all. And actually, I think the casting is pretty much about spot on with casting you're going to get. She's fantastic. When I think of Amanda Waller, this is who I think of. I know DC in the comic books recently they tried doing that whole like young, slim and trim kind of busty Amanda Waller, which is not at all. Amanda Waller.
Make her hypersexual.
Hypersexual. I think in the Arrowverse too, that TV show on CW. So nobody wants that nonsense. So this is actually how Amanda Waller is supposed to be. There's an old line she said, "Well, you don't mess with the wall. This is the wall you don't mess with."
All right. And again, us saying that is not saying that the character cannot be sexy at all. But for me, the aesthetic they painted of this character was like the old grizzled veteran that's seen it all and done it all. When I see that character and picture all the things and all the secrets, I don't imagine her being this super young woman that I don't know how that matches up unless she's like immortal somehow. Nick Fury is the same way. Same thing like this. I'm excited about Secret Invasion with Sam Jackson, where you get to see this grizzled veteran that's seen it all, done it all, knows it all, and he gets to go through this spy thriller. So
could you imagine? We have to do this. We have to do this. Waller versus Fury, who come out on top?
That's tough. I mean, I'd have to lean more towards Fury because he probably has the most actual combat experience.
Yeah, he was.
I think Waller has she was in the military to an extent, but
I
don't think she was like fighting all the crazy shit that Nick Fury's had to deal with, like with Skrulls and all kinds of other mutants and shit like that.
But she had to hit on stuff obviously around Kryptonians and everything else. And
I think she had to fight a Kryptonian though.
No, of course not. But I mean, that'd be a matchup.
Because Fury's been in active fights against like other wild shit and Skrulls and shit.
Skrulls fist to fist. Yeah, yes.
Granted, he's on some Batman prep time shit, so maybe Waller takes some notes out of Batman's book and is just prepped already.
I mean, you've seen Waller actually has gone toe to toe as far as mentally with Batman before,
right?
So
that's what I'm excited for. I don't know. I don't care if it's Affleck, but you got to have whatever Batman from Batman Brave and the Bold. I got to see those interactions. That's the animated series fan in me that wants to see that mental chess game being played between those two.
Of course. Oh man, we have to do it. We'd be remiss if we didn't. Who you casting right now? Carte blanche. Who you casting as Batsman?
That's tough.
I won't judge. I won't judge.
I don't have one honestly because I was really satisfied with Pattinson, but I know obviously with this being like a father role, I don't really see him as the literal father because he just played a young Batman.
True.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind Affleck coming back. I just hate that suit. Like the two main things I hated about Batfleck was the suit one because they went like almost back into the Batman and Robin Batman with like the super comic accurate suit where it looked kind of goofy to me with the fake muscles. Like if you take your suit off and all those biceps you just had just disappear, it's goofy to me.
Looks weird.
And then the fact that he was like a super murderer off rip, I'm like, it's cool, but Batman, part of his character is literally that he has a mental health issue as far as he has to save everyone no matter what.
It's pathological to his own damnation. Yeah.
So I'm like, you just kind of like killed that, which is fun. Again, I know we have that to an extent in the Dark Knight Returns, but I just didn't feel like that fit what they were trying to do there. Personally, but if those two aspects have changed, I wouldn't mind Affleck coming back in. I think he fits the age. I think he, as far as like his sarcasm and how witty he was in his conversations with like Momoa, which I look at Momoa's humor being something similar to Damien's. I think that could work. You just got to cast the right Damien at that point.
No, that's fair. That's fair. You already know who mine is. I mean, it's the most boring answer, but it is what it is. I am who I am. I would put Jensen Ackles in there. He did the voice already for
True.
Long Halloween, but he is a fan. He's a hardcore fan. He actually is a nerd. I mean,
he fits the build.
He fits the build. He can definitely do the whole angry daddy thing pretty well. I don't mean that sexually. I mean literally. But I could definitely see him doing it. He's aged right for it too. Seen him as a father of Damien because Damien's supposed to be like what I guess 9 or 11. But when he first comes around, he's like 8 or 9 or something like that from Talia.
All right.
So he could pull it off. He's right. He's aged right for that, I think. Too.
Let's get into the chat really quickly and get into one of Casey's comments. He says, "My issue with the Gunverse is that he is soft rebooting. I think he needs to go in one direction or the other." Second part of that, keeping some cast and getting rid of some feels weird to me. So I've heard some people's sentiments on this. I think Ethan, you had a sentiment similar to this to some extent, right?
I did too. Again, I think yes. I think the best thing is what you're saying is what you're saying. I think it's seen Charlie is that he's pretty much throwing the baby out with the bathwater, which on some level, I guess you have to do. You have to. I'm not sure how to an extent. Yeah.
I think it's more of an issue of like he's getting who he can to come back. Right. Like I'm pretty sure he wanted Cavill, but I don't think it's worked out to where he could get Cavill back.
If you do Kingdom Come and have Cavill, because Cavill be aged right for that, go that route.
Right.
However, for the new Superman Legacy, it'd probably be a younger one, I imagine.
Right. Most likely. And then as well going forward, I know I'm pretty sure they're bringing back Momoa, because I've heard from when I was on the show with James and my boy, I say my boy now, like I know a dude like that, with Sean McLaughlin. I know they talked about them trying to have Momoa play Lobo and play Aquaman at the same time. So they're like they're trying to bring back who they can, but again, not everybody wants to come back under it, because again, you're rebooting everything pretty much.
Right,
he's rebooting everything, but he's trying to bring the talent in that he knows worked. Like I think Gal Gadot's back on board. I'm pretty sure. I know Momoa's still locked in.
I think she is. I don't know. And the thing is, I'm still not entirely sure if Lobo is fan theory headcanon or if that's actually what Gunn and them want to do with Momoa.
This is from some insider.
Okay,
we'll talk later.
There's been whispers about it forever, and actually, I know that Momoa wanted to play it. I think Gunn likes it too, so I would love. The thing is, look at him. He literally is Lobo. There was never. I was like, why wasn't he ever just cast as Lobo to begin with? We doing, people.
Allegedly, from the people that I know that are, I'd like to think they're credible sources. The thing is, they're trying to just figure out how they're going to do so. They just put Lobo in Elseworld stuff because they want to. Again, it's going to be kind of difficult to have them play both characters and then be in the same movie. So they're trying to work that out, because I'm pretty sure Momoa's down to do both. Which again, Momoa's he's chill. I love Momoa.
He's very chill. The main man. I mean, he is the
main man. Moving forward into another show that's probably going to be a little bit off kilter for some people. Booster Gold. This is how I know that James Gunn is running this shit, because there's no way anybody but James Gunn would look to get a character like Booster Gold and make him like a bigger part of the MCU. The benefit you have with him is that I don't think a lot of people realize he is a literal key to different timelines. So he could possibly be the key to Batman Beyond, because he's a time traveler and he comes from.
Don't tease me like that. Don't ever tease me with Batman Beyond ever.
This is why I'm excited, because the way he has this set up, it has possibility. This could be us doing Gunn's job for him. He hasn't thought about this far ahead, but I don't think that they picked these specific shows and characters to bring back for no reason. And then we'll get into it again, obviously, with another character right after this. But with Booster Gold, he's a time traveler from the distant future, around like the legions of the Legion of Tomorrow? Legionnaires.
Legionnaires.
Yeah, with the ring. Yeah, with the Legion rings. Like he's from that era, so he's past the Batman Beyond verse. Like he's been involved. We got our boy here.
He's back. I got you do the thing.
There he is.
You got it. And then put.
Boom. Yeah. We're
Otis. What up, man?
Sorry for the lateness.
No, we're good, boy. We good.
He's on that super CPT.
No, just traffic and actually some CPT went into it too. I'll tell after the show.
for those who know, try to go ahead and tell folks what CPT is, right quick.
Let's not get into that right now.
Okay.
Let's not do that. All right. But on the note, so Otis, we've been covering some of the shows on the slate. The big one we've been discussing was Booster Gold. I kind of had the sentiment of Gunn picking all these shows very meticulously, because majority of these shows and these characters are keys into other expanded stuff they can get into. So Booster Gold, the biggest thing is him being a time traveler. So that's a way into getting into Batman Beyond stuff. You can get into the distant future. But Supergirl, again, she's at least in the animated series, she stays and goes into the future as a Legionnaire.
Yeah, that's become canon too. They actually
is it canon now? Okay, so
she is with Brainiac and
yeah. So you have all these possibilities with these characters, and it's somebody that you would think is a relatively C-list character, almost like Peacemaker, where it just fits. All these things fit together.
I think that's part of James Gunn's style. He likes those kind of campy type characters that he can build a relatability around. Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's going to try to do for Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and going off of Tito's point, they can build him into the Blue Beetle movie as well.
Yes,
he has a connection. Booster Gold has a connection with Ted Cord, I believe.
Yes. The original, the OG. Another thing too, you're right, y'all. I agree. The thing about it is offbeat with how offbeat Booster Gold is. If you look, we got to address the elephant in the room. Chris Pratt's character, Star-Lord, is very much similar to
same
Gold as far as
same humor, same mannerisms,
same mannerism. I'm not saying they need to cast him. I know there's all these petitions about Chris Pratt being cast as Booster Gold, whatnot, but it's the same idea as far as having somewhat of a person, not a huckster, but someone who's like in it for the fame and the money and the women, blatantly. He goes back in time. He basically has no powers, but he has a little friend named Skeets. He goes back in time just trying to get fame and whatnot, notoriety. So it's, I mean, I can see this being a great, actually a really fun entertaining, because some of the comics are great with Booster Gold. It's actually really strong, to be honest with you.
And going back to Batman the Brave and the Bold, I don't know how much of that show you guys watched, but he was a major part of that show. He was in a lot of that show. Which again led to all these different heroes and villains being popped up. So like between this, Batman Brave and the Bold, the possibility of new characters to introduce into the verse is like endless, literally. They can do whatever they want.
Because I mean, also, I don't know if you guys already talked about it, but if you with like starting with the Brave and the Bold, they give them the ability to go work forward and backwards simultaneously. Because Damian is the fifth Robin. Like they have options to go back and reference everything that happened with Batman leading up until then, and of course, going forward with that storyline, they can develop that more too. So I was actually pretty delighted about that, because Damian is my favorite Robin.
He's your favorite too.
He's my favorite too. He uses a sword, bro. Like it's a fucking sword. Like bro, Batman with a sword. Come on.
I wonder if they're gonna have actually. Not to get off topic. I wonder if they're gonna have Damian actually offering a few cats. Because they probably have Ra's or Ra's al Ghul in the movie too.
It's James Gunn. There's no way he doesn't kill somebody.
Yeah.
So honestly, I hope they almost like follow what they did with that animated movie that came out.
The Son of Batman. I think
it opens with that. Yeah.
I mean, but if they stick closer to the what actually happened in the comics too, I wouldn't be mad either. But you got stuff to go off of, so like do it right.
That'd be fire. Killing people like Goofy, like on some Peacemaker shit, just like in a random kill. He's like, bro. Now, if that was the case too, Jensen Ackles would fit perfectly. I know that was.
I'm telling you, I know I always bang that drum.
That'd be perfect. That humor would be hilarious.
Cito, Cito's here for those who don't know. Cito is a hardcore Sith Lord.
Ackles would be fire,
right?
Oh, like that would definitely be fire. I would sure watch that.
I really want that, man.
We missed out on him as Joel, so we got to give him another role,
right? Yeah.
Going forward with another show that's possibly another key into damn near multiverse, being Swamp Thing. This character is one. I think he's very similar to Man-Thing from Marvel, where he's literally just like a swamp character that has the ability to tap into like the multiverse of the green, which a lot of people in DC have used to like time travel to some extent, go into different multiverses. Which I'm glad we're getting a redo of this, because I never did. You guys ever watch the show on DC?
No, it was off so fast. It even
it was like they took it down like immediately, and then they never brought it on to anything else. So like you gotta go looking for that. You got to find a torrent of it or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So I never saw that. So I'm assuming, like you said, I'm assuming that flopped really hard. So I'm glad they're getting a second chance. Again, I'm hoping it's no more horror themed, because again, he's a horror character in my perspective. It'd be dope to see that. Again, that's another way that you can introduce even more characters. Like the way they're setting this up, if they wanted to get to the Justice League at some point, you're gonna have all the possible characters that you can have the want to introduce with all the shows they have planned out.
Oh yeah, it does seem like, again, it's in a lot of ways. And this is what phase 1.5 of this new DCU. Think about this: we're in phase 4 right now with the Marvel and all things. They've made 25 whatever movies and whatnot. And this, I know we're doing shows as far as films here, but like if they keep this up, if they keep doing these things, if these things do start panning out well, they can do an insane amount of things, man.
And then we talked about it earlier, Otis, as far as like even on top of that, now that they like officially separated the Elseworld stuff versus their main continuity, now you have infinite, even more stories you can tell without that affecting your main stuff. So you can get like a DC Zombies if you want to, and then still do your other stuff and make it make sense. And now you're appeasing casuals and the other fans.
Like
that'd be fire.
Can we get that in? I mean,
I'm kind of scared though, because I feel like the Batman Who Laughs in live action would be kind of. I thought that would look really goofy.
That'd also be rated R. It'd be NC-17 sometimes. The thing is, you could also do. I think what they could shape up, especially with having Swamp Thing, is they could do a Justice League Dark, which they were supposed to do forever ago with our boy
Constantine.
Dude who directed, with Constantine also, but the guy who directed George Miller, who directed Mad Max, he had already cast certain people to be certain roles. So if that would be amazing. Justice League Dark with Swamp Thing in there, Jesus.
Yeah, there's no way they don't bring Constantine and like the rest of that crew coming through. Especially with Batman Brave and the Bold, we already know like Batman and Zatanna have a really good relationship. I see them coming about through her most likely. And then or Swamp Thing, one or the other.
Yeah, real quick, Otis, who would you cast as Zatanna?
What's her name from Saffield. I mean, Amy. She's
not the one that's playing Hawkeye.
Kate Bishop. Yeah.
Kate
Bishop. Yes. Haley Stanfield.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
That's perfect casting. If they can let her that a confident interest, I would cast her.
I feel like it'd be kind of weird though, because you just have to make it different. Because I know mostly in the comics, like her and Batman are around the same age.
Yeah, they usually are. But you could also say, she used magic to make herself look younger or some shit.
Right, something like that. You give her some
she's a G though.
What up, Sir Nicholas, my boy, OG? What's good?
There he is. We knew he was coming around.
Of course. Yeah. Black men support black men. You know how we roll. Yeah. And getting into the last show on the slate that we covered, this is one that could possibly be the best one. I think it's very interesting.
I agree.
Called Paradise Lost. I think a lot of people are looking at this as possibly being like DC's version of the Game of Thrones almost, because it's going to be based around the island of Themyscira and probably the politics that the Amazonians go through as far as the hierarchy of things and how things operate. You'll probably see Ares be a big part of this, or a lot of other characters from the Greek pantheon will probably be a part of it as well. I'm excited for this because I want to see what they do with it. If it's anything like Game of Thrones, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, big House of the Dragon fan. It doesn't need to be like it exactly, obviously, because they probably have a bigger budget with them being so damn strong. But I'd be down for this for sure.
Yeah. I admit I have not read Paradise Lost. But from the way it's described, when you talked about it too, Charlie, I think it'd be amazing. I mean, this could be the best one. This could be similar. We're talking about Last of Us, and it could be in that vein as far as a darker, grittier story, and having someone like Wonder Woman having to deal with that in a world like that with other Themyscirians could be amazing. If you said also having Hades or Ares in there, Jesus Christ, that'd be great.
And they can have Nubia in that hole. Nubia can pop up. We got a black woman in there. Because that's my biggest thing about it. I don't even think this show's going to involve Wonder Woman at all. I think she's going to be off.
Oh, she's not in it.
So speaking of black women, did I already mention to talk about Waller?
Yeah, we can circle back.
You can say your thoughts.
I know you want to talk about it. We're gonna circle back to it.
Yeah, you can say those.
I tried to save it, but we just kind of got on it by accident. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Again, Nubia, I'd like that. I'd love for her to be like the main character in that show, because again, representation as well as it just being dope all together, and that way you don't have to worry about if they do keep Gal Gadot, it'd probably be a little easier for her to film the movies, and you don't have to bring her back and forth or stuff.
Didn't she have her own show? Nubia have her own show or something?
She had her own run of comics. I don't think she had her own show.
Okay.
She deserves her own show.
Yeah. Hopefully this is. Hopefully we'll see how that goes.
Who would you again before we let Otis do Waller? Who would you cast as Nubia then?
Low key, I want old girl that played what was her name from the Obi-Wan show? The black woman from that. She played.
Oh, her.
Yeah, I like her for that. I think I enjoyed her.
She could do it. I would go Logan Browning, but that's.
I might go Jade Cargill for Nubia, actually.
Yeah.
She is acting like that now, because she was in that. She was in The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot about it. I wouldn't be mad at that either. That'd be nice.
That's a good pick too.
Oh God, her scheduling would have to be insane though, with her being in the WWE and like.
It has to be like like a down season or something. I don't know.
Do they even have a down season? It feels like they travel all year.
They don't really. But I mean, you can. I mean, she could basically take some time off to do it, though.
Oh yeah, that's money.
It's gonna be bigger from DC. I guarantee you that.
Probably.
Plus the sponsorship deals they're gonna do with the WWE and like tie that into her wrestling. Yeah, there's no way they don't do that.
Well, it's the same thing Batista and all them did. They pretty much take time off, because I mean they didn't just leave the WWE or WCW or what have you back in the cold turkey. They did other stuff and came back.
I think they did. I think they left for a good bit, and then that's what like John Cena and Undertaker and The Rock for a minute. They would just leave for like 4 or 5 years, do shit, and then Royal Rumble, The Rock's back. Oh shit!
For some special pay-per-view event, they got him out.
Right.
Came back, got a title, and lost the title in like a month, and then he's dipped out again.
Yeah. Those are actually those will all be good casting, I think. Yeah,
I wouldn't be mad at that. But I know, to circle back to Waller, we can let you cook a little bit on your thoughts on the Waller show.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can bottle some of that energy that Viola Davis put into like how to get away with murder, and then have the level of like scripts that I know that they can do, because I mean, some of the stuff that comes across Waller's desk within comics, within other shows, is pretty dark. So just seeing how Viola like impersonates that character, oh my goodness,
she's perfect.
I think she can go crazy with it.
Even more good news for that show in particular. Apparently, I didn't know this until I'm looking at it right now. The Watchmen's Crystal Henry and Supernatural's Jeremy Carver will be working on that show.
Oh yeah, they're good. Okay. They're writers.
So we got some good writers on there. Then it's gonna still have the original team from Peacemaker. So I'm excited to see that. I love that level of characters.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, Jeremy Carver did the silver era of Supernatural. So it's obviously the first 5 seasons are the best, and then pretty much the next few are the second best. Carver was involved with those.
Yeah, so so far, you see why I was so excited. Oh, we forgot a whole show. That's the whole show we forgot about. But you see why I was so excited, because it's going to be really hard for them to fuck this up, because they have all the potential and all the right people in place to get this right. If they fuck this up, I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah, which is that's why I'm
like I want to be excited for it. But like, this is Warner Brothers.
Exactly. We want to see these things pan out. We want to see them get momentum. Actually, see some stuff happen first.
This is how I felt about The Last of Us before it came out. I was like, we've seen nothing but disappointment from, like, at least at that point, video game movies. Or outside of like 2. Hopefully, this is a happy surprise like The Last of Us. Is what I'm hoping for.
And this is the same organization, HBO and WB.
HBO been kind of up lately, man. They've been on their thing lately. Man.
HBO has always put out.
Not HBO, I mean,
well, they had Velma also.
That's got even worse. The more I watched, I've made myself watch more. I wanted just to make sure I'm not being a hypocrite, and I'm like doing my due diligence. Just like
I'm still watching.
It has its moments, but it's still pretty bad. But getting into the last show, I'm pretty sure it's the last show. Let me double check. Yes, the last show. Creature Commandos.
I forgot that one.
Gunn is writing for this series, actually. It's gonna be a 7-episode series. Amanda Waller's gonna be in it as well. And it's gonna be the monster prisoners, pretty much. So it's like Suicide Squad but monsters. So it'll probably be more horror themed. Gunn's writing for it. Amanda Waller. I'm just, hey, bro. That's another one where it's just like, you got the people, you have the formula that got you success before with the original Suicide Squad movie. It's hard to mess up, man. It's really hard to mess up.
Well, they did it already successfully. What's that show called that has your boy Brendan Fraser in it?
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol. That first season was good.
Yeah, the first season was fantastic, but I would not call that show successful.
It started. I say it's successful. I think it has more of a loyal fan base because it wasn't as like popular. In the second season, it kind of like literally was on a kind of like Supernatural, where it peaked and then kind of just went downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, that
first season was really good.
And I still hate Cyborg from that show. I thought that Cyborg was
worst possibly casted person for Cyborg.
He brought the show down.
I was like,
that was Victor. This
is a CW Cyborg, bro. It's terrible.
I agree.
But everybody else?
No, like,
but also it's the theme. It seemed a more horror group together, which I think worked.
Right.
Which has Cyborg ever been a part of the Doom Patrol before?
Not ever. It was always Beast Boy.
So why did they just throw him in there to throw him in there?
That's a question that I wish I would have gotten an answer to.
He just always, you seem like even in the show, he felt like an odd fit for that show.
Yeah. Extremely.
Yeah, he stood out like a sore thumb.
All right, especially when Beast Boy popped up. I'm like, now we have Garfield. What are you here for?
Yeah.
That's the thing, like for Titans show, like they got him from that the Doom Patrol house. Like
and didn't get Cyborg. That's crazy. They got Garfield but didn't get Cyborg. Oh,
it was like yo, we don't want him on our show. Like y'all.
But maybe that's what it is though, because it's
with this shit.
Because Cyborg isn't on Titans, right? The show Titans. So maybe they're like, we need to put Cyborg on something since he's not on Titans. We'll put him on.
Well, they pulled like the Beast Boy from Doom Patrol. He came from there and went to Titans.
Right. He has the same actor. So I'm guessing they figured we got to put
Cyborg. No, like it was literally connected. Like they went there. Yeah.
And I'm like, so out of the main original members of the Teen Titans, you get one, but don't get one of the other main. And he has like the best relationship with the character you brought over too, which was another weird thing. I don't feel like Victor and Garfield have really had that good of a relationship in the Doom Patrol show as well. So I'm like, what is he here for? Just here to say shit and be a flirt, I guess. It was the whole thing. But
did he even flirt? He was just there to be the token black dude.
That's what I mean. That's the elephant in the room.
In the later seasons, he was like simping for this one nurse that ended up having some kind of weird backstory that I forgot about.
They
didn't show her again. Like after that first initial like time where he let her go, like she never comes back.
That show's weird. Yeah, the show has its positives, but there's a lot of glaring.
The first, I actually like the first season a lot. But
I love the first season.
I love Jane. I love Brendan Fraser's character. I like all the characters are solid. It's the writing that got really shitty after a while.
Shout out Brendan Fraser because he had a mean comeback.
That dude,
he had a mean comeback.
He deserves his Oscar, which he's going to get pretty soon.
Bro, his interactions with him and Jane in that show were really good. They were amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
shit, him and anybody, honestly.
He's a good.
Which dude. I hope they bring him back. I hope they bring the Doom Patrol back to some extent, which maybe will come with the Future Commandos. I'm hoping, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that is our official cover on the DC slate for the upcoming future. I'm hoping for nothing but the best, and we'll see what happens there. I know, Ethan, you have a game prepared for the show.
I do, and this is actually prepared by me and super friend of the show, our behind the scenes man, Andre Cito, aka Nightwing. Here we go.
I'm campaigning.
I wanna be the very
blurred
one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide.
Silhouette.
To understand the power that's inside.
Silhouette. Co-host.
I know it's my destiny.
Silhouette.
Oh,
Co-host.
in a world we must defend.
Then and now. Silhouette game.
That's so nasty. Oh, that was disgusting.
Good.
Oh,
you're paying attention. That means you're paying attention. And again, Cito approved of that, so it's not entirely my fault.
They didn't claim this video. We'll see.
They're gonna claim it. They will definitely claim it. But they should. Don't worry, it will never get to the light of day. I promise. It's a one and done permanently.
Oh, maybe we get away with it. I don't know. We'll see how it happens. I'll see if we can get through. But anyway, continue. My bad.
But anyways, yeah, we're in the pop up this old banner here. We are officially in the Silhouette game. So as you could tell, pretty much, I know y'all both watch Pokemon. They used to do this little bit at the end of Pokemon or during commercial breaks for Pokemon. They say, Pokemon. Who is that? Mm-hmm. It's Michael Jackson's son, whatever it might be. So this is actually the same idea. It's called the Silhouette.
They never made a blanket Pokemon.
They didn't.
They never made a blanket Pokemon. They made everything else.
Ice cream cone. I'm gonna for them, Joe.
Ice cream cone, chandelier, a candle.
What did the ice cream cone evolve into? Like a triple sundae or something?
Yeah, a triple ice cream cone.
Nice. I want that Pokemon.
That's what made me tap out of Pokemon at that point. When I saw that, I was like, this ain't for me anymore.
And I haven't tried it anymore. They gave up. But so, like I said, this is a Silhouette game, and Cito and I put it together. Big shout outs to Cito for doing a lot of the heavy lifting on actually designing, actually making this look the way it looks. So what we're going to do, fam, now you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention real hard. I'm going to show you the silhouette of a character in the DC universe, tying it into the James Gunn and all that kind of stuff, the announcements we've had. Mm-hmm. Look at the silhouette when I show it to you. Get it lodged into your brain and try to deduce whose silhouette it is. They are all from the DC universe. Some of them are going to be harder than others, but they're all very much DC. And they're pretty much C-list or above. They're ones you would know. Promise. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Suggestion for this. To avoid the issues of me getting cheated again for calling out roles, how about you assign, hey, your go, and if he misses it, then it passes over.
Okay, that's fine with me.
No, we can avoid, because again, I got a whole dub taken from me from that shit. Well, I still got it. What am I saying?
That's perfectly fine, because I'm going to show you the image, then I'm going to remove it, and let you guys go ahead and say what you want for your choices, and then we'll play on. And again, go ahead and keep score if you can. I think Cito's here too. Cito as our backup. Please keep score as well in case one of these dudes try to cheat. Okay. All right. So you're ready for round one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go. All right. Who do you think that was?
Is it my go? Or who's yours?
Did we just say it?
Yeah.
We just say it? Oh, you just not going to pick. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll say, Charlie, you go first. Charlie, who do you think?
Yeah. I am going to say that was the Flash.
The Flash, Otis, who you got?
That was a weird angle. I'm a Martian Manhunter.
You said Martian Manhunter. All right, Here we go. is actually
Dr. Fate.
I've never seen that picture of him before.
I've never seen that pose ever.
Right.
Not
I thought it was a Flash. I was like, that's kind of odd. Okay.
Like I said, some of these would be harder than others.
I recognized there was a cape. I was like, all right, who's got a big flamboyant cape?
I thought it was like lightning streaks or like wind or some shit. That's why I was like, okay.
That's fair. In all fairness, so this one, there was a much more blatant version of Dr. Fate that I chose, and Cito said, "Nah, that's too obvious." I said, "Okay." So he changed it. He changed the hell out of that one. Man. He made sure for the hardest one possible. All right, so, all right, fam. Here's number 2.
Mm-hmm. And so me this time,
Bane. Okay, you said Bane, and Charlie.
I was gonna say Bane as well.
You say Bane as well.
See the two.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the Bane.
Yeah, ain't no way. 2. Yeah. I seen it.
Like if it was, I would have been so mad. Like if it was Mr. Freeze with like.
I'd have been pissed. There's just the Arkham Freeze and shit.
Damn! I wish I had. Oh, no, I'm mad they didn't do that. We should have done that. That's next game. Next game we'll do that one. All right, so now it's tied up, y'all. It's tied up on 1. All right, y'all ready for the dance?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know that. I got that.
Okay, yeah. Charlie, you're first.
That's the Huntress.
You saying Huntress and Otis East?
I mean, I also think it's the Huntress, but for for sake of the game, I'm gonna go Supergirl.
Okay, all right then. So we got 1 Huntress, we got 1 Supergirl.
Seen 20 years. Was it Batwoman?
Let's see who we got.
Batwoman be pissed. Okay, I was about to say I seen the pointy ears.
That's all right. So it's now we got 1 to
1 to 1. Because the first one neither of us.
No, sorry, 2 to 1. 2 to 1.
No, the first one neither of us got.
No, but the second one you both got. You both said Bane last time.
Yeah.
So it's 2 to 1. Yeah. Remember, I have bad memory, y'all. So I can't I can't do this much longer as far as skill score. All right,
I got you.
All right, next one coming up here. Ready, fam?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I already know that one. This is not who I think is gonna be pissed. That's O's go first. You go first.
This is Joker.
Okay. And
that's the Riddler from Arkham. I think you got the Arkham Riddler.
Yeah, okay. Riddler.
So one says Otis, you're saying the Joker, and Charlie, you're saying the Riddler. Okay, let's see how the dance plays out.
It could be the Joker though.
Let's see how the dance plays out.
The hair looks too clean though. Damn! Oh, you shot the fucking Injustice one. Okay.
Yeah. In all fairness, he's not wearing a bowler hat. So, and not that the Riddler always does, but oftentimes since the Bruce Timbers, he has.
None of the Arkham version, he had the cane and shit. I haven't seen the Joker with the cane too often.
Yes. He rarely does. That's true. He rarely does have a cane. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next one. So now I believe it's tied.
It's tied, yeah.
Okay. Here we go, fam. Let's dance.
That's easy.
That's too easy.
That's too easy.
All right. What you got? I think it's Charlie's turn.
Charlie's turn.
Yeah, that's Barbara Gordon Batgirl, right?
Okay. What you got?
Yeah, same. Barbara Gordon.
All right. Let's confirm. Let's go to the game tape.
They could screw us and make it Batwoman.
Batwoman, yeah, but that's Batgirl. That's Batgirl.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He likes. Yeah, I know Otis. Not Otis, but Ethan likes. He likes Barbara too much.
I do like me some Barbara. Yeah, give me some Barbara.
Oh, that was MK versus DC Joker. I should have known that then. I played the fuck out of that game.
I mean, it is legit. Terrible, it's still a joke. It is 100% a Joker. It is him.
Yeah, I know, but I missed that game.
Yeah, we're not lying to you. We wouldn't lie to you. Cito wouldn't lie to you.
It's nasty that game.
So the score now is still, I think it's still tied then because you both got it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Okay, it's Otis now.
All right. Oh yeah, that's obviously Wonder Woman.
Evie, yeah. That's Wonder Woman. The shield gives away.
All right. So
I don't think there's any other woman with a shield in the show.
You got to double check though. It could be a Valkyrie somewhere else. You never know. Let's confirm.
It could be Hawkgirl, I guess, but
you see the rope. You see the rope outline on her waist too.
Yeah.
Game tape.
Or it's not a rope. I guess that was just her skirt. They give her that weird like plated skirt in like the newer version.
The Jim Lee designed. Yeah. Okay. So yes, again, y'all still tied.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here comes. This is gonna be a little more challenging though. Ready?
Oh, that's easy.
Not challenging.
That's easy.
Yeah, that's really easy.
We watched the animated series, my guy. Right. Come on now.
Look, man, I want y'all both to win. I want y'all both to succeed.
Yeah.
Shaq made this movie.
Yeah, Steel.
Of all things that reference you bring Shaq's version of it. Yeah,
God.
But let's make sure game tape confirm this. And
yeah, seen the hammer is over with. Yeah, come on now.
John Henry himself.
The Diesel.
All right. Okay, fam. Now this one, I will be. Cito and I laughed about this one because we know it's going to probably trip you up a bit. Ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, that's easy.
Who's
Brainiac.
You saying Brainiac?
Ooh,
Which
Brainiac?
doesn't matter.
I was gonna say that was Jon Stewart, low key. It looks like his design.
It could. It
looks like bald headed Jon Stewart.
You saying you have one Brainiac and one Jon Stewart, right?
So I'm sick of Brainiac, but it definitely
Brainiac.
Jon Stewart. Yeah, I'm sick of Brainiac.
Game tape it. This game tape is.
I thought this is design though. It's silhouette.
Yeah, that definitely looks like Jon Stewart.
Yeah, I watched my shit. Come on now.
It's exactly right. It is Jon Stewart, and it's exactly him with the head change. Yeah. We thought it also might be confused with the Mazo. Remember, then the return when he's gold when he comes back.
What gave it away for me was like his legs. Like his legs are very distinct. I don't remember too many characters being designed like that because his legs are kind of weird.
What's up with that in the Timbers?
I just saw the bald head in the build. I was like, God, that's Brainiac.
It's because they want to give him that perfect V shape and give him the big upper chest.
Taper.
Charlie's up. Charlie's
up at one, I think.
Yeah,
they all had a huge triangle, inverted pyramid at the top. And they have very, very small legs. They do not do legs ever.
Marvel used to do with
like dudes in prison.
They do all prison. All right, let's see if y'all can get this one. Ready, fam?
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible.
Okay. See, I thought it was Terry too, but I'm kind of scared because the wing shape looked kind of off.
I'm sick of Terry.
I'll keep rocking with Terry too. I'm gonna keep rocking with Terry.
You both got Terry McGinnis.
I feel like you're doing a surprise though. I can slip in.
All right, Terry McGinnis. Okay. All right. Let's dance. Let's see what we got here, fam. The misdirect. It's the regular one with the cape is out to look like McGinnis.
Yeah, the cape looked kind of weird to me. That's why I was like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the misdirect. Okay, I believe it's still up. Charlie has one up, right?
Yeah, it's 3-2, I think.
All right, let's see if we go here, fam. Let's dance.
Oh, I know what that is. Is it my go or his go?
I can't remember. Maybe Otis's go.
Aquaman.
You saying Aquaman?
Yeah, that's Slade.
You saying Slade? You saying Destro?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, let's game tape it.
I seen the boots and a sword.
Yeah, he does in fact have the swashbuckling boots.
He's at the
classic Deathstroke. Yeah, the swashbuckling boots are pretty. That's a pretty good thing you caught on that. I'll give you props for that. You caught onto the boots.
I really be watching these cartoons, bro. I told you I watched this DC cartoons like that.
Because I don't think he even has those swashbuckling boots in all of his iterations. It's just
I don't know why. I saw the sword and I was thinking that was the trident.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I seen them boots first and I was like, ain't nobody I've ever seen had those boots except Deadpool from Marvel.
Yeah. That's fair. All right, fam. We're getting near the end here.
So it's 4-2.
Yeah, I think you're up. Yeah,
I'm up 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. If you get this wrong, yeah. Boy,
okay,
Ali.
Right, you both got it. Okay.
Right. He's not my boy. Don't call him that.
I mean, I like him more actually in the comics or in the animated series than in the show.
It's the one Archer he doesn't claim. That's crazy.
Yeah,
pretty much is.
We're not from Kingdom. Is that the Kingdom Come, Oliver? Or?
Yes, that's Alex Ross.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You both got this. Here's a fun one though. This is gonna be a fun one. I promise you'll have fun with this. Dance hall.
That's Flash.
Yeah, it's the Flash. Lightning. All the lines.
Okay.
Flash.
So y'all both saying the Flash. Definitively Flash.
Or wait. I'm specifically because I know you're gonna try to throw us.
No. It doesn't matter which.
Oh, doesn't matter which one. Okay.
I don't care if it's Wally West, Barry. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I was gonna go Wally.
No. We're not playing that mess. Yeah. Okay. So you're both saying the Flash though in general.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's see. And it turns out y'all are both right.
Yeah. I used that same image in a flyer that we made for the Patreon a while back.
You get inside information, and that's inside trading, man. The thing about it was we had a different image before, but it was more iconic. The thing was Cito thought that this would be because it could confuse you with Static Shock. That's what we're hoping for.
True, I can kind of see it. But once his foot's out, though, I don't like Static when he's on his board. He didn't have like one foot extended.
Yeah, you'd see the board or something if he had that.
It would fall off.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Getting in the final round here.
I hope Static's on there. That's pretty obvious.
Okay. You think so obvious? You got Charlie.
Charlie's
That's Robin.
favorite.
That's Robin.
Is it Robin?
Yeah, I've seen the little wingtip boots.
Which one are you saying it is?
That's probably Dick Grayson because it's like the really early version of the wingtip boots that he has on.
You in these boots, man? You in kicks?
I'll pay attention to like the different aesthetic parts of the character. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see how aesthetically right you are. You're 100% right.
So hey, bro, hey, come on now.
It's my boy.
Come on now.
All right. Final two, y'all. So I think the score is still Charlie's up. Unless you have time to catch. You do have time to catch up, though. You have time to catch up. All right. 3, 2, dance.
No, that's easy too.
You think so?
Yeah. Let me go ahead, Carl, or you want to check a stab at it?
I think Otis is your go first.
I'm gonna say Supergirl. That's the only person that makes sense to me.
Yeah, Supergirl.
Supergirl.
I think I've seen that exact arc before.
You might have. Regardless, though, I'm so impressed because she has different haircuts. That's not always the same haircut she has. That's sort of the shorter haircut she has.
I've seen that exact picture before though. I've read that comic.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm still impressed, y'all. All right, now this one is the last one, final one. Here we go.
Oh, that's easy. Come on, boy. Cito, my boy, hermano. What's up, boy?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Y'all know who it is, man. Of course it is. I had to give love to our boy Cito by having him in here as our final one.
Hey, bro, y'all did DC animated characters and thought I'm about to eat this shit alive. Come on now.
We wanted it to be fun, man. We wouldn't try to make you give us, this isn't some SAT quiz. This makes sure it's fun. So of course y'all gonna crush this. It's like that. So yeah, I will say then on the end, it looks like Mr. Wilson, you are up this round, which makes as far as the games, if I'm correct, it's 2-1. Charlie has 2 wins and Otis has 1. I mean,
technically 3-0, but I mean, I'll give him that.
We'll do a anime version of this and then see how close that ends up.
It depends.
You will come back
if you're making the game, it'll probably be hard as hell. But I feel like maybe I don't know. We'll see. I do try to hit. You've seen it from everything from the sound game to this. I try to hit a fair baseline.
All characters from mainstream anime in, but I don't think either one of you get it.
We'll see. Hey, I don't know the stories like that, but I know what motherfuckers look like.
See though, we gonna talk. We gonna make an anime version of this. We definitely hit you.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we have one that has like an even more copyrighted song that'll get us. So
we're gonna do the Rock the Dragon.
Right.
Yeah. Cito, just so you know, I would have known about that one too. We had a whole conversation about that on Craig on Tapping No Capping. Guys, go check that out.
It is literally the most famous ass in like all of comics. Like even more famous than most women's asses. I mean, it is what it is.
Literally.
Oh,
but yeah, you guys, before we get ready to head up out of here, do you guys have any closing thoughts on everything we've covered so far?
Not on what we've covered so far. A slight tangent to something that we've talked about off cam was that Harley Quinn and Joker podcast on Spotify is pretty solid. If you haven't
is it okay?
Already, we'll definitely recommend it.
I'll go ahead.
I meant to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. I've seen somebody, one of my homegirls, told me about it, and I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I'm curious. Don't tell me. I'm curious if is it inspired by any canon or story, or is it its own original piece?
It's
its original piece, but I mean, it's starting from their first meeting to getting to, kind of showing
how she falls.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think the spin on it though is that like she's broke and she needs money for like her dad's operation or something like that.
Ooh, okay, I'm on board. How much from what you've listened to, Otis? How much Winston Duke is there in this?
The negative 5.
Swear to me.
There is a Bruce Wayne in there, and it's not Winston Duke.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we'll put it on the board then. We'll go and listen to that. I have to give a huge shout out again to our boy Cito, aka Nightwing, aka the man behind the scenes here. He really stepped up and really helped us out greatly with this. He owe him a great debt. Thanks again, Cito, for all your help with this. The game.
Gracias, hermano. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Guys, before we get ready to get up out of here, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Church announcements, gather around children. We have a lot of dope stuff coming forward to you guys. We've been working really hard to get a bunch of different dope content coming to you guys. A lot more gaming content. We'll be doing a lot more reviews on indie stuff, as well as the DBZ docs getting worked on. And we have a very, very special surprise for not the rebrand, but the aesthetic of the show coming up. I can't say too much now, but just know we got some heat coming. That shit is fire. I'm excited. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. I'm your co-host C Diesel, Lelouch V, Professor E, Keenan Comics, Ethan Murphy, and this has been the
Maybach Music.
Then in our podcast. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
At least get the Justice League one, bro. Like, there is a whole snippet that he uses that says Justice League